Parents who choose not to immunise their children could lose up to $15,000 in government benefits a year as the government tries to stamp out a rising number of parents avoiding vaccinations. The Prime Minister says so-called conscientious objectors have more than doubled in the last decade, and he will close a loophole allowing parents to skip vaccinations without penalty.
Australia has a vaccination rate of more than 90% for children under the age of 5, but the number of parents opting not to immunise is growing, from 15,000 kids a decade ago to 39,000 today.
If we want our families to be secure, it's important that all our youngsters are immunised.
There are rising concerns about whooping cough deaths and more exposure to measles, mumps and rubella, with more parents using the conscientious objector loophole to skip the vaccine but still claim all welfare payments.
The overwhelming advice and position, I think, of those in the health profession is it's the smart thing and it's the right thing to do to immunise your children.
And now, if that advice is ignored, there'll be consequences. The government will only allow those with medical reasons or religious objections to skip the jab, the Minister insisting it will be a narrow avenue.
It requires the formal position of that religious body being advised to the government and approved by the government. So this is a very significant narrowing.
Parents who still opt against immunisation will lose up to $15,000 a year per child, unable to claim childcare and family tax benefits.
You won't qualify for the supplement and you won't qualify for the childcare payments. So this is essentially a no jab, no pay policy from this government.
Labor's been calling for tightening the standards around vaccination to make sure that the best science is what applies. We're pleased the government has listened.
Immunisation is one of the few areas without any real political debate. On the other side of the spectrum, there's the GST, and Finance Minister Matthias Cormann has weighed into the campaign from his home state of WA to get more of the GST carve-up. Western Australia gets 37% of its GST revenue back from the Commonwealth. The Grants Commission has that slated to fall further to less than 30%. Matthias Cormann says, coupled with falling iron ore prices, it's not fair or sustainable.
We should freeze the GST relativities for next year at the same level as this year so that nothing changes.
Labor still considers WA a relatively wealthy state, and that means them putting more in than they get out.
We should not move lightly away from a principle that has been at the heart of the idea of Commonwealth now for 115 years.
Tom Connell, Sky News, Canberra.